Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Going to get started here in about 20 seconds. We'll give it another half a minute or so for people to join us. All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, September 26th. Hope you're well. Hope you had a great weekend and feeling a little bit better, but still a little under the weather. So I'll try to get through today's market update as best I can. Obviously, back into the regular routine. I'm going to be still pausing the pre-market live streams. Sorry there, I had to cough. I'm going to be pausing the pre-market live streams for the foreseeable future. I'll keep everybody posted on that, but I'll be doing the before market close videos regularly throughout the week, Monday to Friday, usually about 30 minutes before the close. But we'll do a quick market update. If anybody does have any ticker requests, please place them inside of the Slack thread. And let's go. So taking a look at the crypto space at the moment, we are back in 15-minute uptrends pretty much across the board. We had a huge move on XRP over the last couple of weeks as speculation is running rampant with regards to the SEC lawsuit. And the SEC filed their motion for summary judgment. And essentially, they did not even mention the fact that XRP is a security. So it looks as if that, they're giving up on XRP being a security. It's something that we know is ludicrous. We know that FinCEN declared it a virtual currency. We know that many governments and G20 nations around the world deemed it a non-security. You got Japan, Singapore, Switzerland, to name a few. But taking a look at Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, it's a new weekly candle starting, so it's a weekly inside bar. So we have resistance at 19,910. Support at 18,152. So if we lose 18,152, we continue weekly consolidation for the second week in a row. And if we break resistance at 19,910, then we start the weekly bounce, which will be the first time in 2 weeks. And then after that, we have resistance at 22,792. A lot of people are speculating that this could be the bottom on Bitcoin, the temporary bottom. So if you're looking for a decent trade, I personally think there's better opportunities out there in the altcoin market. Full disclosure, I don't own any Bitcoin or any Ethereum at the moment. I sold it on the run up to all-time highs, around 45 to 50,000. And I never look back. I don't care that it went to 70,000. I don't need to sell the exact top as long as I'm selling near the top. And, I sold Bitcoin when it was around 45 to 50,000. Yes, it went to 70,000, but then it also dropped to 17,000, right? So I have no interest anymore in this cycle in Bitcoin or Ethereum until they drop, 85 to 90%. And basically, I'm focusing on altcoins. But if you are looking for a decent trade, it's been a decent opportunity and time to accumulate Bitcoin here with a stop below that 17,585. So if you wanted to even take a position now on Bitcoin, again, not financial advice, this not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, it's for entertainment purposes only, but essentially you're risking about 7%. Sorry, let me just get that again. About 8% from current levels to that low. So that's some pretty good risk to reward. If we trend back up to the high of the bounce here, that's about a 30% move. So you're essentially risking 8% to make about 30%. Even the first resistance here is about 18%, right? So that's about a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So that's exactly what we want to see. And then if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we don't really have any resistances nearby until 30,000 up at the EMAs. So again, risk 8% to make upwards of 62%, right? So this is not a bad idea. In my opinion, you could set a stop below 17,000, maybe even allow a little bit more wiggle room, and 17,000 would be roughly about 10%, right? So risk 10% to make 60% seems like a pretty good risk to reward opportunity for me. Another way to play it would be to wait to see if we break 17,500 support, because a lot of people would have those stop losses there. Or what you could do is you could enter a little bit now and then set a buy order for, say, 17,000, right? And then you can scale in maybe 2 or 3 orders and then set your stop below 16,000. That's another one as well, right? But I do think that if we lose 17,500, we could be heading to 15,000 in a hurry. And if we lose 15,000, then we're targeting the monthly head and shoulders, right? We had the the left, the head, the right, and if we take the measured move from the top to the bottom here, just a quick roughly, that takes us down here to about the $13,000 area, right? And that's what this dotted line here is. Actually, no, that was from a bear flag prior. My bad. It's a different chart. I think it was on this one here. Yeah, there's the head and shoulder. So head and shoulders target is 13,000. And that also lines up with the 0.618. So it's possible that we go to 13,000. We already had the monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. Something I want to highlight as well is Bitcoin's still struggling to get over the 10-week moving average. We almost did it here. We confirmed the weekly uptrend with the higher low and higher high, but we went right back down and confirmed a lower high and lower low back into a weekly downtrend. So Bitcoin is weak. We're still bearish on the stochastic as well. MACD, it has flipped bullish, but just look at that chart and then look at XRP. XRP is one of the strongest weekly charts in crypto at the moment. You can see we're well below the 10-week moving, well above the 10-week moving average. The stochastic and the MACD are both going parabolic with the black line far exceeding the red line. When that happens, that's a bullish cross. And you can see here we're going parabolic, getting above that, and at the moment it looks like it's a potential weekly bull flag. So XRP was a potential daily bull flag. I mentioned last night in the community that I didn't think that that was going to be the most likely scenario, and sure enough, we lost 47 cents. So we back tested the, what did we get to here? 45 cents. So I said I expect to pull back to around 45 to 40 cents, and sure enough, so far we're bouncing off 45 cents. So at this point, the daily bull flag has been negated. So we'll zoom out to the weekly time frame. And actually, no, there's no, we haven't even started weekly consolidation yet. But we are back testing EMA 26 here on the weekly time frame, and to the T, actually, it's perfection at the moment, holding it. So we might get it's going to be a couple weeks before, I don't think that we're going to see a weekly bull flag, actually. Okay, yeah, I see why I got confused here, because I had different candles. These are the HLC bars. That's why I thought it was a bull flag, but just takes the, just a little bit different style candle. But back testing EMA 26 looking really good. The weekly volume on XRP, I think the daily volume was like $2.5 billion. The average is like 600 million. So it looks like something is brewing here with XRP. And again, a lot of people are speculating it could be because of the lawsuit. Personally, I don't know. I doubt that, because they don't make it that easy, right? And if you take a look at the POW Group community and just, scroll over to, say, the Crypto News Channel, a lot of these articles, mainstream media articles, this isn't really, super mainstream. It's a crypto panic, so it's crypto-centric. So it's not your technical mainstream media, but it is still the herd mentality, right? And a lot of it saying that, the SEC case is going to come to an end soon with Ripple. And I don't think they're going to make it that easy. It's probably going to come when we least expect it. And I don't think that this recent price bump is because of that alone. Obviously, it's adding, some bullish momentum. But what I think is happening is Flare Networks is set to potentially launch any minute now, like pretty much any day. Hugo Filion, the creator of Flare, actually sent out a tweet, I think it was today or yesterday, saying that the code has been released to, essentially it's been released, and we could potentially see it, like I said, any day now. And that's going to bring smart contracts and DeFi to the XRP ledger. It's going to be huge. We also have XLS20, so NFT capabilities potentially coming to the XRP ledger. That's going to add some bullish momentum as well. But you know what I think is the thing that is driving the most momentum right now is the fact that we're starting to see the XRP naysayers and haters capitulate. So we're seeing, the Ryan Selkis of the world. We're seeing, hater after hater after hater start to switch. Altcoin Daily. There's a few, Bitcoin maxis that are really starting to root for Ripple, and a lot of that has to do with Ethereum post merge, right? Once it migrated from proof of work to proof of stake, now the SEC is saying that proof of stake coins could potentially be deemed securities. So I think what is happening is the crowd that hated XRP and Ripple for the longest time, they're starting to realize that, oh shit, this might be a pretty big deal, right? And now they're hoping Ripple and XRP win, and a lot of people are speculating that, you know, that they're going to win or at least settle, and it'll be favorable for the crypto industry, right? They want a positive outcome for Ripple and XRP in this case, because that's going to be good for the whole crypto space. If it's a negative outcome, that's going to be really, really bad for the whole crypto space. So I think we're starting to see those naysayers and the haters start to convert and capitulate, and now they're backing XRP and Ripple. So I think that's the biggest driver right now. Let me know if you agree with me or not, but I do think that that is one of the major driving forces at the moment for Ripple and XRP. And Ripple, last time I checked, their private equity is around $41 per share, and XRP trading at 47 cents. So again, it's just ludicrous, right? The SEC is saying that XRP is a security of Ripple when Ripple actually has private shares. They're trading at $41 a share on the private market. You can go to link 2 if you're an accredited investor, and you can buy Ripple shares. So how in the hell is XRP, you know, they're essentially saying that Ripple shares is XRP. That if they said that Ripple private equity was a security of Ripple, then yeah, you know, wouldn't take a monkey could figure that out. But XRP, the decentralized virtual currency, has Ripple could go away and XRP would continue to trade in the free and open markets, right? It's open source software. Anybody can build on top of it. They don't need Ripple's approval. Anybody can be a validator on the network, right? There's 150 plus validators on the network, and you don't need to, you know, clear that with Ripple. You don't need a permission from Ripple to do that. You can just go and do that. And Ripple controls less than 6% of the validators of those 150 plus validators, right? So it's obviously fully decentralized. It's not proof of stake. So yes, Ripple has about 45% of the supply in escrow, but it's not proof of stake, right? So the more XRP you own, you don't have any, you know, more control over the network. Whereas Ethereum post-merge, there's like, you know, 3 or 4 addresses that are controlling all of the staking blocks that are created, which would arguably present centralization post-merge on Ethereum, right? So I think that Ethereum could be targeted next by the SEC, unless we get some sort of executive order or some sort of decision from Congress or legislation that's going to, you know, supersede the SEC. But we need the SEC to get in their own lane. Maybe we get the CFTC appointed the regulatory body and oversight committee, an agency for the crypto space. That's a possibility as well. So we'll continue to monitor it, but things are starting to heat up. So SPY, the S&P 500, we did lose the low of last week, 363.29. As I mentioned, was support to be watching. If we lost that, we continue weekly consolidation for the 3rd week in a row. We did confirm a weekly downtrend with the high, low, lower high, and lower low. So once we lost support here at 388.44, that gave us the lower high and lower low, and weekly downtrend confirmed. So we are breaking to a weekly lower low. And like I said, the dollar, I've been targeting 114 on the dollar for the longest time. We hit 114.52 as the high, and we haven't consolidated since January. So it's now been 9 months since we consolidated, right? Almost a full year. What goes up must come down. Nothing goes in a straight line forever. And we need to potentially anticipate a blow off top coming here. The next resistance that we have on the dollar is at 120. And then after 120, we have 121, I believe it is. Yeah, 121. So we could see as high as 120, 121, maybe even 125 on the DXY. And again, this isn't the buying power of the dollar getting stronger. This is, if you look at the pound today, it's getting absolutely crushed. If you look at the yen and the, you know, all these, essentially the DXY is just the measurement of the strength of the dollar versus 6 other currencies, right? All the majors. So because of the euro and the pound and everything getting absolutely destroyed due to, you know, rate hikes and the geopolitical events with the war in Ukraine and Russia, obviously that's taking a toll on that, and it's, you know, it's boosting the dollar strength compared to the rest of those currencies. But the actual buying power of the dollar is not going up, right? It's just compared to those 6 currencies. But what we need to expect here, monthly RSI is over 81, so we're extremely overbought here. And what we could see is one final push higher, blow off top, somewhere around 120 to 125 potentially. We see a major crash in the S&P 500, and that lines up well with what I'm thinking, and what I potentially could expect is we have the elections in November. I mentioned this on my live stream from Friday. We have the elections November 8th, and then FOMC decision for the next rate hike will be after that. So what we could see, in my opinion, is over the next month to a month and a half, the markets are going to get extreme, and we're potentially going to come back down, test 340, 330, maybe even as low as 300. We have to be prepared for that as well, right? The .com fractal is saying we could get to 300 or slightly below that, but it's also saying that it might not happen until around March or April of next year, right? Sell in May and go away type of thing. And then maybe bottom out sometime in February of 2024. So again, this isn't a crystal ball. We don't know for sure, but we just need to be prepared. And what I think could happen is I'm 80% sure. I'd say there's an 80% chance that we're going to come back down, test that 325, which is the previous all-time high before the C19 dump. And then we start a massive move up to around 400 as a lower high on the monthly time frame. And we bottom out sometime between now and the November 8th elections. Then once the elections happen, we start to see, a temporary bottom being set, and then and today the pound getting destroyed is adding more confluence to the narrative that we could see governments around the world start to pause rate hikes, because if it's at its lowest level in 20 years and all-time lows, well, that's going to encourage other governments to start pausing rate hikes as well, turn a little bit more dovish instead of hawkish. Hawkish just means they're increasing the rates. Dovish just means they're easing off, right? So all of the signs are starting to point to we could see the market bottom sometime between now and the elections. And then toward the end of November, when we get that FOMC rate hike, what I think is going to happen is they're going to pause rate hikes because the stock market will be in turmoil. The rest of the G20 and top nations around the world are experiencing massive drops in their fiat currencies, right? In their sovereign currencies. So the fact that that is the case is only going to add more confluence to the fact that we could see governments around the world start to unify and pause those rate hikes, right? So that's something that I'm looking for. And again, FOMC rating toward the end of November could potentially be the catalyst that we need to slow the bleeding and see a massive rally, one more final move up before we see another multi-leg down in the markets, and potentially 1 to 2 years worth of downside before we actually set a bottom. It might even be longer than that, right? Again, we had 120% gains, over 120% gains on the S&P 500 in 2 years, when the average annual rate of return on the S&P 500 is about 12%. So essentially we had 10 years of gains consolidated and condensed into 2 years, right? So if that happens, we need to expect the same thing on the downside, that extreme type of a move, right? So, like I said, between now and November 8th elections, I think we're going to see massive pain in the market to come. Not a bad idea to take a short if we lost 360 on the S&P 500 as well, and then target that 330, 320 area, which is the previous all-time high before the COVID-19 dump. So Tesla continuing weekly consolidation for the second week in a row, having lost support there at 272.82. Next support on deck is 265.74. After that, we have a lack of support until 216.17. On the bull and bear list, we have VEGA, AMC, and Fubo leading the decline. On the bull list, we have WNW, SIRC, and Riot. Canadian MJ hasn't lost the low of last week yet, so tech a little bit weaker comparatively. And we can just take a look at the QQQ to get a sense of that. So, yep, we lost. Actually, that's the monthly time frame, my bad. Weekly time frame. Actually, QQQ, overall tech has been holding up okay. We haven't lost the low of last week yet. But SPY did. Barely, but it did, right? So that's all that matters. And the fact that we lost that support means that, we're starting to see signs of weakness again, and that we could potentially trend lower into this week and next week. But Tesla, obviously, such a huge weighting in the S&P 500, so that could be why the S&P 500 has started weekly consolidation as well, because Tesla's pulling back and has such a huge weighting. But MJ holding up relatively well. It's a high risk asset. And if we take a look at, say, Ethereum or Bitcoin, we've pulled back dramatically over the last couple of months. USMJ starting to feel the wrath a little bit more. So MSOS indicative of that, testing $9 here, new all-time low. And if we take a look at TrueLeave in the last month is essentially down almost 40%. And a lot of people are, still don't understand that the market moves in tandem, right? The whole asset doesn't matter if they're profitable, doesn't matter if they're not profitable. It matters that they're in the same sector. And what is the common theme? What's the common denominator here amongst all MJ? Doesn't matter if it's Canadian, doesn't matter if it's American, doesn't matter if they're retailers, ETFs, producers, whatever. everybody is setting new all-time lows and heading to all-time lows. So at this point, Trulieve is dangerously close to the all-time low at $8, right? So we're only 32% away now from the all-time low. And you can see here that Trulieve is already losing the low of last week, showing more weakness in the American side. Tilray not losing last week's low. And again, it's because it's been beaten down more, right? And it's already very, very close to its all-time low at 243. So that's the next key support on Tilray. We're only about 8% away from the all-time low. So I do think that there's going to be a little bit more pain for USMJ, but not a bad trade, not a bad time. I still don't own any Trulieve directly. I own it indirectly through MSOS, the ETF, but I may look at adding it soon. And that's one thing I'm grateful, again, as I've always been saying lately, is the patience that I've learned from MJ and crypto. And you know, so many people thought Trulieve was a good buy here and here and here and here, but until we see the sector catalyst that we need, like safe banking or uplisting or some kind of news like that, I'm not worried about, you know, people are messaging me saying, when's the Hexo earnings, or when's Tilray earnings, or what are you expecting for Tilray's earnings, or this individual company? I don't care, right? The whole sector's in turmoil. The whole sector is bleeding out. It's been bleeding out for multiple years now. I could care less about one company's earnings report in the MJ space right now, because any kind of pump that it does get, it's going to be short-lived, right? So yeah, we need to just zoom out and just be patient, realize that we could see a little bit more downside from here. If SPY is going to target 320, 330, 340, potentially, then we could see another 10, 20, 30% downside on some of these names like Trulieve, right? And just join the rest of the market and the sector in MJ and testing those all-time lows and potentially setting new all-time lows. So as long as you're prepared for that, you know, change your mindset, right? Bear markets are a good thing sometimes, right? Of course, we have a lot more fun when the price is going up, but in order to get life-changing opportunity, you need absurd low prices, right? And here we are, we're starting to see absurd low prices on MJ. Canadian has been absurdly low for a long time, but MSOS starting to follow suit, right? And again, the MSO maximalists, or the fundamental maximalists, or the people who think that profitability matters in the MJ sector, well, they're being humbled by Mr. Market, right? And they're being taught a lesson that fundamentals don't matter in a nascent industry, right? Just like crypto, right? They all move together. Everything moves in tandem. Eventually, that may not always be the case, but for now, that's the case until the sector matures. Taking a look at Canadian MJ, so TGOD, NOVC, and Labs leading the decline today. On the bullish, we have Huge, DB, and Love. So Love's interesting here. I'm very bullish on this name. We know that they just got supply into BC as well. So British Columbia, they got vapes and pre-rolls and flour. And still not even in Alberta yet. So this is a extremely undervalued company, obviously, but holding up relatively well here. Excuse me. But yeah, I think this thing's easily going to get back up to 18 cents here in a hurry once we do start to confirm some major uptrends on the weekly and monthly time frame. But wouldn't be surprised in the least to see this thing trading at $1 here over the next 6 to 12 months. I'm also going to be doing an interview with Alex Boyer, owner of Analyse Cannabis. I already did an interview with him in the past. You can check that out on my YouTube channel. But essentially, there's like 100 new products, I think, or somewhere between 50 and 100 new products that hit the SQDC. So we're going to be doing another live stream. I'll do a similar format to what I did with Nick, CFO of Canara, and Morgan Fox, political director at Normal. We'll do a live stream, and anybody can participate and join in and contribute to the conversation as well and ask questions. So be on the lookout for that. Going to try to schedule it for this week at some point. On the bull and bear list on the American side, we have FIT, TAUG, and FLGC. And on the bull list, we have Ian, Acreage, and Schwaz. But in conclusion, just expect more downside for USMJ. Because like I said, Trulieve, in a hurry, back down to its $8 all-time low support, which should be the lows of March 2020 COVID-19 dump as well. And again, people they still don't understand, right? It's a profitable company. What's going on here, right? The fundamentals are super strong. Well, from the all-time high, from the 2021 highs and all-time highs, February 2021 highs, we're now down 81%. Tilray's down 96%, right? So if we were to go to $8, then that would bring us only 88%, right? So it's entirely possible that we're heading to $8 or $10 or below on Trulieve, right? and a lot of our other names as well. I put out a video saying I was bullish on GTII. I expected a price target of about $20, and we got to $18.09, so I came pretty close. But we're still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. Now anything under this high here, essentially, actually, yeah, we'll say this high here. So anything under 35 on the monthly time frame was just a monthly lower high, right? And we still haven't even started monthly consolidation yet. But we're just pulling back, monthly inside bar. Still bullish on a lot of our MJ, right? But long term, but you know, at the moment we're in monthly and weekly downtrends, and until we change monthly and weekly trends and confirm uptrends, we'll just expect more of the same, right? But GTII from current levels to its all-time low, 60% away. So long ways to go before we hit that March 2020 bottom. So GTII could see a little bit more pain on this one. So SPY is still trying to hold the low of last week, but pretty weak bounce. Not gonna lie. We just take a look at the hourly time frame here. Yeah, we failed to confirm the hourly uptrend. So we had the low, high, lower low. We were looking for a higher low and higher high, unable to do it. Now we're forming a lower high. Anything under 370.21 is just an hourly lower high in an hourly downtrend. And look at that EMA 12, resistance, 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 that yellow line. So we need to close a candle above that yellow line and confirm a higher low and higher high, give us that hourly uptrend. That'll set our daily higher lows. And then we'll look for the daily bounce to get underway. Then we zoom out to the weekly. Once we confirm a daily uptrend, then we look at the weekly bounce, watch for it to get underway. But essentially, we'd have to bounce from the high of the day today. We'd have to bounce over 5% to start the weekly bounce on the S&P 500. So it's not looking like that's going to happen this week. Anything can happen, but like I said, I'm bearish until the midterm elections into November 8th. I think between now and November 8th, we could set a bottom somewhere around the 330s on SPY, and then into the end of November, get the FOMC rate decision, set a bottom, you know, just before or around the November 8th elections, and then toward the end of November, get the FOMC rate decision. I think it's going to be super low. If not, they may not even raise it at all, and that would be the catalyst that would absolutely, you know, create a face ripper of a rally in the markets, especially in the broader market and in crypto. All right, going to end it there. See if we have any ticker requests or no ticker requests at the moment, but we'll do another before market close live stream tomorrow. Best of luck out there. Brace for impact. We could see a lot more downside. And like I said, that's essentially what I'm looking for. Until I'm not, I'll keep everybody posted. But, you know, again, with current levels on the S&P 500, if we do target that 330, that means we could see another 8 to 10% of downside. So just prepare for those scenarios. Can only control what we control. Markets can only do one of three things. They can go up, down, or sideways. As long as you have a plan for all, you'll do just fine. All right, going to end it there. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next video.